things through Christ who strengthens me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. If I meditate on the word day and night, God will make my way prosperous, and then I will have good success. Joshua 1:8. I am Skylar. I am a child of God. This is the morning affirmation of my 8-year-old daughter. I have her to recite this affirmation every morning, not because every morning we wake up and see rainbows and cotton candy clouds, but because it is necessary for her to start her day as she encounters and interacts with the world outside of our home. I have her to recite this affirmation daily, even on those mornings where we are almost in a WWE wrestling match. Y'all know my sister here, she's always saying, y'all fighting this morning. We're fighting. But even through that, when I'm telling her to brush her teeth 1,000 times, when I'm telling her to wash her face 1,000 times, I have her to recite this affirmation. Not because she's woke up in the best mood, not because I've waken up in the best mood, but because it's important for her as a young woman to understand who she is, whose she is, and what she can do in this earth. Because it's imperative for her to know these things about herself. Because she is a young woman, and even what can be more challenging being a young black woman. And we have some men in this room, some young men in this room too, but it's important for you all to hear this as well because you have sisters, you may have cousins, so this message is also important for you. Since kindergarten, she has been reciting some version of this affirmation every morning. And today, I want to encourage you to create and incorporate a morning affirmation that reminds you of who you are and reminds you that you are not your environment and remind you that there are no caps for your life. So if I had to give this message, this speech, if you will, a message, it would be no caps, unbreaking the biases. You were created to crash ceilings. You were created to break down walls, to break barriers, and to break the biases that you have been exposed to and have been imposed upon you. You have everything you need to go, to be, to do everything you desire to be. So this morning, I want you to just take a moment and just think about those things about where your family, your family makeup, where you come from, the neighborhood you live in, your mother, your father's situation, your grandmother's, whatever those situations are. I want you to take a moment and just think on those things. What have I been told? What have I been predisposed to because of my environment, because of where I grew up in? And I'm going to share a little bit about myself in just a moment. So I wanted to define a bias. A bias is defined as a disproportionate weight in favor of or against an idea or a thing, usually in a way that is closed-minded, prejudicial, or unfair. Biases can be innate or learned. This is important because what you believe to be, what you see in your environment, what is around you, what the community, what the news tell you, what your community tell you about yourself, is important for you to know what those biases are so that you'll know how to break them, so that you'll know how not to succumb to those things. Right. It's important for her to know who she is and affirm herself so that when she go outside, nobody can do that for her. So that when she go outside, she's already been affirmed. She already understands who she is. She already understands that she's strong, that she's brave, that she's smart, that she's intelligent. She's not looking for any other outside factors to define that for her. This means that we have to be twice as smart, twice as quick, twice as productive as our male and especially our white male counterparts. If we even want to be considered for certain opportunities, if we even want a seat at the table to earn a fraction of what men earn. The gender gap in pay has remained relatively stable in the United States. And so what research has shown is that women have to work an additional 42 days a year just to come close to what men earn. 42 additional days a year.
All right, students, pardon the interruption. I want to make sure that we give all the students.
And was among the first 3 grandchildren of my family to graduate high school in a single mother household. The first to obtain a bachelor's degree from a 4-year university to then start a ministry, not even knowing what that truly meant. and still learning how to navigate what that means as I continue to break biases. So in spite of what you see, in spite of what your mom did, your sister, your dad, and your brother did, you can be the first in your family to do something new. You can be the first in your family to show up in a different way. You have to show up boldly when you do different, to stand out. You got to see what you want and go forward with everything that's in you. So what I'm saying is there is no bias you can't break, no boundary that you can't destroy if you start now realizing your strengths, realizing that you are not your surroundings, that you are not your environment. You are so much more and destined for so much more than what the biases have told you. Even what you have learned, there is no cap to your life and your life. And what does that mean to you? I asked you earlier to reflect and ask yourself a question. What have I been subjected to? What have I been believing about myself because of where I come from, because of who my mama is, because of who my daddy is? It's important for you to identify those biases so that when you get ready to step out and you get ready to overcome them, you know exactly what you're coming against. You know exactly what you're going through. You know exactly what you're going for, so that another young girl that may be with you, that may see you at school, that may see you at church, they can say, okay, she did it, I can do it too. He did it, so I can do it too. It's not just about us. We have to understand that there's other people coming behind us that's waiting on us to do something that they've never seen done. Those same thoughts and those, I hope that you all really did think about that, because I want you to know that you can pull those down, that you can do stuff different, that you can make your lives different just by simply speaking over yourself, just by simply believing what you hear, believing even this message that I can do whatever I want to do. I can do what I can do greater. I can go forth and be greater and do better and see better. And if you're unsure of what you've been created to do, if you are unsure and you struggle with your confidence, you struggle with feeling beautiful, you struggle with who you are, you struggle with your family, you say, well, I came from this family, how can I do this? And I came from that family, and I'm from this community, how can I do this? I came from Collegeville. I grew up in Woodlawn, right around the corner. There's nothing that you can't do. There's no cap for you, because you can break the biases off of your life. I was recently watching a YouTube video, and I'm trying to expedite time. I was watching a video, and the girl was talking about a bottle of water. And if you keep that cap on the water, nothing can come out of that water. That means you can't drink from it, and nothing can go into it. If you need to refill it, you can't even refill it because you haven't removed the cap. That's why it's important that we remove the cap so that things can get in and things can come out. So today, remove the cap. Destroy the biases of society, of your surroundings, and even the biases on your family. I want you to recognize what those are. I want you to recognize what they are, so that when you go out differently today, when you leave out this classroom, when you leave out this building, when you step in your home, you know who you are. For those who celebrate you, surround yourself with friends now. Pick your friends now. Pick your friends wisely now. Those people that celebrate you, your sphere of influence, that means those people and those places that you go. Pick those places wisely. Number 2, don't sleep on yourself. When you walk in a room, know that you're meant to be there. When you walk in a room, know that this is your room to command. When you walk into a room, don't shrink, don't hide, be bold, because you have been meant and purposed to be there. And number 3, push and encourage yourself to go beyond your self-projected limits. There's no limit for you. There's no cap for you. I want you to break the bias off your life. And that doesn't mean that when you're going to be set up, that you're going to be set up for the perfect field goal, the perfect layup, the perfect home run, or the perfect performance, whatever you do, whatever you're aiming to. It doesn't mean that you're going to do it perfectly, but when you do, you're going to be equipped to count your losses. You're going to be hurt. People will disappoint you. Life will happen. Things will happen in your life. But you're going to be equipped to count your losses and celebrate your wins as you break biases and remove the caps off of your life. So as you leave today, I want you to write down these affirmations. Write down your own personal affirmations. If you have to Google it, write down your morning affirmations and speak them over yourself. And believe that you can break the biases off over your life, and that you can remove the caps. Thank you.